Hey, in today's video, we're doing a review of Tailor Brands and specifically setting up your LLC with this service. So the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that. And this is going to be a pretty complete tutorial, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things besides Tailor Brands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into the iPad here because I have a presentation set up for you. So what we're going to start with is this table of contents, just to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about in this video. So we're going to be talking about the cost for an LLC with Tailor Brands because it's kind of confusing to actually get that information. You can't find it very easily just from doing a Google search. And then we're going to be talking about common LLC pitfalls. This isn't specific to Tailor Brands. This is specific to anybody setting up an LLC. Those things are things such as piercing the corporate veil, registered agent, and commingling funds. If you do not know what those three things mean, you have to watch this whole video because I want to make sure that your LLC is set up correctly and that it's doing what it's supposed to do for you and your business. So then lastly, what we're going to be talking about is how to save $509 when you are setting up your LLC. So what we have here is a lot of information. I'm just kind of scanning through it real quick. I'm going to walk you down all of this, and I just want to give you kind of a tease here so you know what you're getting into. So we're going to jump into this iPad here and really get set up here. So first things first, what I have here is I wanted you to be aware that there's a timeline with your LLC. So what you can see here is this is day 1 and this is day 365. And this is important because not everybody realizes that when you have an LLC, you have to maintain it. And that's why I highlighted this where you renew your LLC. This is going to vary based on the state you're in, what those costs may be. Sometimes it's like, nothing. Sometimes it's $50, $800. It depends on your state. You have to pay that fee to make sure that you're keeping your LLC intact. And we're going to be talking more about that in a little bit. But on day 1, and maybe all this isn't happening day 1, it could be happening in the first like 5-10 days, but you're going to set up your LLC. You're going to pay a state fee. So that's something that's worth talking about right now. When you get your LLC set up, you can set it up in any state, right? But you set it up in the state that you're doing business in, and that state fee is going to vary anywhere from like $40 to $500. There is no getting around the state fee when you get set up with your LLC. You can go directly through the state. Tailor Brands, a different service and attorney, you're going to pay that state fee. Registered agent, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in this video. EIN, I could explain that really quick right now. Basically what that is it's a social security number for your business. And it's a way that the IRS is able to track your business through having an EIN number. And it's important because it's going to help you get set up with other things that are important for your business. We're going to be talking about your business bank account and why that's so important, operating agreements, and then licenses and permits and insurance. So I don't want this video to be super long. So these last two, insurance and then licenses and permits, just know that whatever service you go with, Tailor Brands or something else, they give you options to add these things on. It kind of depends on what type of business you're setting up, right? If you're just setting up and you're like, I want to start a YouTube channel, you probably don't need licenses, permits, and insurance. But if you're setting up like a roofing company, right? High liability, you're going to need licenses, permits, definitely insurance for a business like that. So I just wanted you to be aware of these things to consider when setting up your LLC. So one of the things, and we are going to be getting into Tailor Brands, the pricing and all that. But again, I want you to be aware of everything when you're getting your LLC set up. So one of the things I've noticed is that not everybody knows what an LLC actually does. So some people think that there's a tax break with an LLC. And I'll tell you right now, there is no tax breaks with an LLC. That is not why you get an LLC set up. It is specifically for limiting your liability as a limited liability corporation, right? So what that actually looks like, what does that mean? Like sometimes you hear these words, you're like, okay, I want to limit my liability. What does it mean? All right. So I have set up a little scenario here. And I'm a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm, so that's what we're going to be using as an example. If you've ever seen the show, there's an episode here, Latte Larry, where Larry sets up a coffee shop. So let's say hypothetically you set up a coffee shop. When you do that, you have your business assets up here in the upper left, right? So that could be your business bank account. Those could be assets. So it could be your computers, your cash registers, whatever, your physical store location. These are all different types of business assets. Then what you have in the middle here is a division, right? And then on the right-hand side, you have your personal assets. So again, these could be things like your personal bank account, your personal assets, like your TV in your house, whatever, your car, really horrible drawing, right? So this division here in the center, I'm gonna try my best to write this out, is called the corporate veil, all right? And I know I don't have the best handwriting, so just bear with me, which is why I had to do a lot of this ahead of time. So that division is called the corporate veil. And that's really important because you want to make sure that that division is separating your personal assets and your business assets. So when you say an LLC limits your liability, basically what you're talking about is this right here, corporate veil. Now, why? What does that do for you exactly? Let's say that you were to be sued, right? So if you actually watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, this works out because Latte Larry's burns down and he ends up, his neighbor ends up getting a ton of money for it. So let's say somebody has an accident in your coffee shop, right? On the left-hand side here. So what's going to happen is the attorney that's suing you is going to try to find cracks in your LLC. And what they're going to try to do is pierce the corporate veil. So there's different ways that there may be cracks in your LLC with the way that it's set up or maintained. So what a attorney will try to do is they're going to try to pierce that corporate veil. So just get rid of this in the center here. And I'm not going to get rid of all of it because it's going to take me too long. But when that happens, the attorney can then come after not only your business assets, all right? They're not only going to come after your business assets, but they're going to come after your personal assets too. That means your personal bank account, your personal assets, your car, even your home. So LLC is super important because what it does is it separates your business and personal assets. So we're going to talk about how to make sure that the LLC is set up correctly as well. So registered agent, that's going to be something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit too. But what I'd like to do is first get into the pricing because you came here for a Tailor Brands LLC review. Now, Tailor Brands, one of the things that I don't like about the service is it takes you about 5 to 10 minutes of answering questions to actually get a price. If you're starting a new business, if somebody asks you what the price is, one of your customers or leads, the next thing out of your mouth better be a number, all right? So in my opinion, Tailor Brands is a little shifty with the way they do their pricing. So this is for the state of Texas. And one of the things you'll notice is in this particular pricing scene here is that there is no state fee. You're like, okay, it says that LLC formation is $0. You have annual compliance, you have all these things, and then it's just like, it's going to be $199. It's not really $199. Like I mentioned, every state, they have a fee. In Texas, and I'm just using Texas as an example, it's $300 for the filing fee. Could be $40, could be $500. It just depends on the state that you're in. Now, one of the other things to take note of here is that they have a registered agent, which we're going to explain in a little bit, and that's $199 a year. And then the employer ID number, right? The EIN we talked about is $99 paid once. So when you get to this page, when you're actually getting set up with Tailor Brands, if you do decide to go that direction, what I would recommend is clicking this button right here to see other options, because that's going to illuminate things a little bit more. So when you actually look at this right here, your actual total cost is $797 for the first year for getting set up in the state of Texas. Now, if you were to deduct out the state fee, really what we're talking about is $497 of fees plus your state. So again, once you hit this button right here, see other options, we're going to go down. And then you can actually see the 3 different packages that Tailor Brands LLC offers. So here you actually start to see the state fee added in, but you can see I've already highlighted the fact that you have this billed annually right here and then right here. So that's really something that's worth mentioning because you're going to be signing up for a subscription service when you get signed up with your LLC with Tailor Brands. But one of the things that you'll notice in here is that the things that we're showing on the last page, which are the registered agent and employer ID number, are no longer showing on this page. So again, you look at it and you're like, on this page, you might think, all right, this is going to cost me about $500 between those two things. And if you're looking at this page, you might be like, it might be $199. It's very confusing with the pricing. And that's one of the things I don't like about Tailor Brands. So at this point in the video, what I want to do is suggest a different service for you if you are getting set up. This is a service called InkFile. So with InkFile, the thing that I like about them is in about 3 clicks, you can actually see a complete transparent pricing. And they're smart because they actually highlight this. They say, hey, this is one-time transparent, one-time transparent, one-time transparent. So at first blush, you might be thinking like, oh, that looked more expensive than Tailor Brands, but it's actually cheaper if you go with InkFile. And they've been around, I think, since like 2003 or something like that. They've done 800,000 businesses. But what I want to do is start breaking this down for you to see how you can save money, but then again, also explaining other things that are really important when getting set up with your LLC. So what I want to talk about here is the gold package. That's their most popular one, because this is going to be the one that's going to get you set up and running, but also make sure that you're doing everything correctly. So the state fee, in this particular case, this $300 here, again, that's because we're in Texas. The actual package fee is $199. So that is where this $499 cost comes from. The other cool thing with InkFile is that they have a free registered agent service no matter which package you choose. You get a registered agent free for the first year. So why don't we go back up because we kind of skipped over this earlier. What is a registered agent? What does it do? This is important for your business. So if you remember going back to the beginning, we said we're going to talk about piercing the corporate veil, which we talked about. Now we're talking about a registered agent. So this may be called different things. Typically, it's called a registered agent. Sometimes, depending on which state you're in, it might be a resident agent, a statutory agent, or agent for service of process. There's a mouthful, right? This quick visual here, again, going to Latte Larry's, is going to explain this to us. So let's say, Larry, this is you over here, right? So then in that situation that we talked about before, where an attorney and a lawyer is trying to sue you and pierce the corporate veil, what happens with a registered agent, this person in the middle here, is, and you can see I put a blue suit on him, amazing at drawing. Let's say the lawyer is trying to serve you a notice of process, like you have to come to court because they're going to sue you, right? If you don't have a registered agent, which you legally need one, right? You can be your own registered agent within your state. It's not recommended. It's better to have somebody that's going to act as a go-between. So the lawyer is going to send you the notice if you don't have the registered agent. But when you have the registered agent set up, what's going to happen is the registered agent's going to take that information and then they're going to pass along that information to you to make sure you're getting that. But it's going to be more than just the lawyer. There's going to be state notices, all different types of things that are coming in to this registered agent at different times. And then what's going to happen is when you have that registered agent set up, you're no longer getting these things hit up from every direction. It's going to make it really easy for you because the registered agent is going to forward these important notices for you and making sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So when it comes to your LLC, the registered agent is really important because they're going to make sure that your LLC is intact and then you're staying up on things and making sure that you're doing things correctly by the book. So Tailor Brands, again, looking at the registered agent here, I know I'm kind of butchering this here a little bit, but $199 a year. Now, if we go down to InkFile, registered agent for the first year is free. All right. Year 2, year 3, year 4 after that, it's $119 for the registered agent service with InkFile, no matter which package you choose. Now, the one thing that I liked about Tailor Brands that they include only in the most expensive package with InkFile is this free next day filing. So I kind of already posted this on here. What that's going to cost you is $50 in an upsell charge if you do need your LLC set up correctly, or if you need it set up as soon as possible. That fee is going to vary by state, but in Texas, that's what it is in this one. So what I wanted to do here is actually do a cost breakdown. This is where, the rubber meets the road here. So we have Tailor Brands versus InkFile, and I'll kind of just leave this on screen and we're going to pull information as it pulls up. So year 1, it's going to be $797. If we're in the state of Texas, it could be more or less depending on which state you're in based on your filing fee. In year 2, it's going to be $398. And that's because you're going to be paying $199 for registered agent service and $199 for annual compliance. And we're going to explain annual compliance a little bit more as this video goes on. So it's going to be $398 every year after that. So after 3 years, you're looking at $1,593 to get set up with Tailor Brands and to have them manage your LLC each year going forward. Now, looking at InkFile, year 1, $648. Again, the registered agent is free for the first year, but let's say we're in that middle gold package, which is a great one that I would recommend. If you really want them to take care of everything, you can go up into the platinum package. If you'd like to save money, you can go into the silver package. But I'm going to explain again why it's so important that you look at doing the middle package, because there's important aspects of that. So $648, that includes a $50 expedited filing, and that also includes $99 for your annual compliance. So why don't we go all the way back up to the top here? Because remember when I was talking about this, when I said, hey, like this is, there's a spectrum here because you have this 365 days here, right here, right? So every year you need to renew your LLC. Well, with Tailor Brands, so I'll just put a TB, it's going to be $199, all right? And what they're basically doing is they're filing whatever your state requires. Some require you to renew your LLC. Some require you to submit an annual report. It's going to be $199 with Tailor Brands. And then if you want InkFile to handle this for you, it's actually not a subscription. It's just something where they'll remind you. And if you want them to take care of it for you, it's going to be $99. But again, really important that you are renewing your LLC every year. You're doing that annual report, whatever it is in your state, because it's going to make sure that your LLC is intact and there's no cracks. So when we looked at this down here, you know, that attorney can't pierce the corporate veil in the center there. That one got pretty ugly, right? So let's go back down to the bottom here. We're going to look at the cost breakdown again. And then InkFile, what you're basically looking at after 3 years. So total, save $509 with InkFile. After 3 years, if you're comparing it with Tailor Brands, it's going to be $509 cheaper. And then you also are afforded a lot more options with InkFile, because if you want to file your annual compliance yourself because you feel comfortable doing that, you just do it yourself and then you just pay the state filing fee. So there's a lot of things when you're looking at Tailor Brands where I'm looking at it, I'm like, geez, the pricing is a little sneaky because it feels like you're getting into this subscription service. And then they also seem to like pile on extra fees that aren't necessary. If you're using InkFile, you're going to save money because you get to decide what you want. And then if you choose to use the registered agent service, it's going to be cheaper each year. So my ask at the beginning of the video is, I want you to watch the whole video, which you've done at this point. But my other ask is I have a link in the description below to get set up with InkFile. Same cost to you. You can get set up for free, but I would recommend at least the middle tier package. And that is because we're going to get into something called business banking. So I didn't talk about this yet, and this is really important. With the InkFile middle tier package, there's going to be a business banking account. So really glad I just thought of this. When you're getting set up, what they're going to do for you is they're going to set up your EIN business tax number, right? Which is going to be an additional fee with Tailor Brands. But then they also set you up with business banking. Currently, InkFile is set up through Bank of America, which is a great bank to get set up with because they're nationwide. They have a ton of different products and services for your small business. But when you get set up with that business bank account, you want to do that as soon as possible because you don't want to do something called Commingling Funds. So if you go right up to the top again, the very top, you remember here that we talked about Commingling Funds. That's basically if you have a personal bank account and you start running your business out of it, that may be something that creates a crack because you're commingling funds. So you're running your personal funds and your business funds through that same bank account. That attorney that's suing you is going to try to pierce the corporate veil and come after your business and personal assets. So that's why it's so important that you don't commingle funds. So that's why I love InkFile is they think of all these things and they get it set up for you really easily in the gold middle package right there. So you're going to get your EIN, you're going to get your business bank account, you're going to get your LLC set up. You're also going to make sure that your articles of organization are filed properly. And importantly too, you're going to get your operating agreement as well. So last ask I have for you is if you found this video helpful, there's a link in the description for InkFile. It's an affiliate link. I may make a commission. It is no additional charge for you, but you're going to save $508 in 3 years by using this service as opposed to Tailor Brands. And what I want to do too is there's a video on the screen right here. It's going to walk you through the dashboard of the service because there's different things as you're trying to keep up your maintenance on your LLC or you have questions about different forms you may need. I'm going to walk you through all of that so you can see what the dashboard looks like when you get set up with InkFile. All right, I'll catch you in that next video.